guess hell really did freeze over. Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. Things really are changing in the toy sphere, considering the fact that two traditional rivals in the toy space have finally joined forces and are swapping IP properties, not only in games, as it would appear, but actually now in actual toy IPs. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Hasbro and Mattel have actually started mixing and matching toy brands, I guess. I mean, I'm really kind of confused here. Skystriker and his tank? Let's take a deep dive into this, guys, and see what the differences are between these two very similar building block brands and see exactly what came out of this partnership between these two juggernauts in the toy world. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I honestly thought this would never come to pass. I did a video, it was a year ago actually, which I titled Hell Just Froze Over, in which I outlined the partnership between Hasbro and Mattel and that they were going to be sharing properties together, and I thought that was absolutely bonkers. So it seems like it's not just going into games like I originally thought with Uno and Monopoly and other sort of crossovers. No, they actually are now doing some sort of toy partnerships, and this really did blow my mind. And just a few days ago, yeah, it was announced that G.I. Joe would actually be coming to Mattel Creations line of action figures. Maybe not action figures specifically, but definitely the Mega brand. G.I. Joe Skystriker and Cobra His Tank will be joining the Mega brand. This is actually kind of nuts, guys, but at the same time, it kind of gives you some shades of deja vu. After all, Mega is a building blocks type of system, very much similar to Lego. And if my memory serves, the Hasbro team did actually release a line of construction blocks. And yep, there it is. Just doing a bit of a Google search, and we do find out that the Cobra His Tank construction set was actually a thing. It had 100 pieces of blocks to build the 788 Cobra Hiss tank, and it actually did come with a small Hiss tank driver. And it's not like I haven't seen these before. I actually saw them at multiple locations in dollar stores, as well as places like Five Below and even Big Lots. We can see here that these are definitely budget construction sets. They're not as elaborate as like Legos or anything like that, but they are reasonably priced, as I do recall the larger of these sets is anywhere between $12 US and $8 US for the smaller sets. And here in Canada, when they reach the dollar stores, they're even cheaper than that in some cases. And as I mentioned earlier, I did actually have the opportunity to find these at dollar stores like Dollarama and Dollar Tree. I found the Cobra Ferret, including Storm Shadow, and the Ninja Cycle, which also included Snake Eye, the Cobra Rattler. I also found the Cobra Fang, which included a pilot and Cobra Commander, actually. But on a trip over to the United States, over at Big Lots, I was able to find larger sets like this Snowcat, which is priced at $12 US. I ended up finding the 2-pack of the Raven and Skystriker. This was a great little set, and it was about 150 pieces between the two planes, which also included 2 pilots. I believe it was Ace and the Baroness. But this was actually kind of deceiving, as the Snowcat was definitely the larger of the 2 vehicles, being able to hold 2 drivers into its cockpit, whereas the 2 planes were only able to house 1 pilot each. This was kind of discouraging. As a matter of fact, if we head over to Jeffrey Scarborough Board Game and Geek Things, another ToyTuber channel, which you guys should definitely check out, he actually showcased how big these actual planes really are, and honestly, they're really, really small. I don't think the pilots can even fit inside of the cockpits, as there really is no canopy to speak of, on the Skystriker at least. The Hiss tank fares a lot better. As you can see, the canopy does open and close, but according to Jeffrey, it doesn't close very well. Whereas we can see clearly that the driver can sit inside of the Hiss tank, albeit slightly ajar, as you can see here. This being the case, it really is apparent that these vehicles on the construction set for Hasbro, created by Forever Clever, are very much a budget set brand. Which brings us back to Mattel Creations, and of course, I am wondering just how different these sets are, because visually, just by this splash screen, it really does appear that these are much bigger vehicles all in all, and I really wanted to take a deep dive and see exactly what the differences were. Heading over to the countdown for the Mega G.I. Joe Skystriker versus Cobra Hiss building sets, the first thing that hits you right away is of course the $80 price tag. That's a lot more money than the other two sets, coming in at around $8 and $12 respectively. This of course being a 2-pack, there's a lot more to it. I really wanted to see exactly what the differences were between the two sets, so let's dive right into it. First thing we see of course is the difference in packaging. This is a much different design compared to the way it was presented in Hasbro version, which actually showcases a very traditional Skystriker illustration, very similar to the way it is in the classic G.I. Joe Skystriker set. We can see in the front of the box of the Hasbro set, it does show the full version of the constructed building blocks of the construction set and the stickers which are adhered to the entire piece as a whole. Whereas the Mattel set showcases more of a completed illustration of the Mega blocks as they would appear once they're fully completed, along with the two figures who would be included in the set and Captain Ace, respectively. The Hiss tank on the Hasbro box is another similar design, showcasing the original illustration from the Hiss box art and a fully constructed set along with the pilot, who looks very much like a Lego minifigure. In contrast, the Mattel Creations actually has almost a battle scene where the Hiss tank is actually firing up towards the Skystriker, and we do see the two drivers who are also included with the Hiss tank, Cobra Commander and the Hiss tank driver, all rendered in a classic G.I. Joe style box art. We can also see the 4 minifigures who are included in the set right on the box art, and this is a wonderful touch. It also lists the number of pieces, 617 in total. That's a lot more pieces combined for the Hasbro construction set, being 100 pieces for the Hiss tank and 100 pieces for the Skystriker, comprising only 200 pieces total, in contrast to the 617 pieces for this set from Mega. But I think that's enough for the box art. Let's take a look at the set itself. Here is everything that comes with this brand new Mega construction set for G.I. Joe Skystriker versus Cobra Hiss. And I gotta tell you, this is looking really, really impressive. We can see the fully assembled Skystriker and fully assembled Hiss tank in their actual glory. And we also see the 2 drivers who are included with the Hiss tank, as well as the 2 drivers that are included with the Skystriker. It should be noted that Mega Contstrux minifigures have always been a lot more detailed in their overall design versus regular minifigures for Lego, and I think that really was one of the differentiators between the two types of building block sets. It was clear that Mattel wanted to stand out in terms of their minifigures compared to their contemporaries. Taking a closer look at the size comparison, it wasn't completely apparent in this particular shot. We can see that the Skystriker is absolutely enormous. Comparing it directly to the Hiss tank, it really is more of a sizable comparison in terms of its overall design. In the original toy, these two were definitely rivals, one on the ground and one in the air, but their size really did differentiate in terms of their overall superiority as far as vehicles are concerned. The Skystriker is absolutely dwarfing the Hiss tank, and it's pretty apparent that most of the parts which are included in this set are actually for the Skystriker itself. But that's not to say that the Hiss tank isn't substantial. It really does look a lot more complex and interesting than the version which was released in the Forever Clever Hasbro set. At least that's the way it appears visually here. We'll take a closer look at the actual details in a moment. And of course, we do see that each of the 4 characters have their own name blocks. Duke, Ace, Cobra Commander, and the Hiss tank driver. These guys look absolutely incredible, as do most of the Mega Contstrux minifigures. Again, very, very highly detailed, and I do love the fact that we're getting all of these characters with this particular set. Here we see a bit more detailed shot of the canopy, which has the names of 2 traditional pilots blazoned on the canopy itself. I love Ace's overall attire. He's got that flight suit with the halo canopy helmet. It looks almost like a spaceman's outfit, but of course it is his traditional flight suit for the Skystriker. The Skystriker itself really has a lot of wonderful detail in this version. And I gotta tell you, it is very different compared to the Forever Clever set, which really is simple in its overall design. But then again, this is a very budget-friendly set comprising of only about 100 pieces. I would imagine that the Skystriker is a lot more complex, and we're going to see how that works in a moment. The Skystriker itself also comes with a number of accessories, including all of this ordnance. We have a number of Sidewinder missiles, laser-guided missiles, and even a massive napalm bomb, it appears to be, This is a wonderful inclusion and of course adds to the realism for the Skystriker itself. What's really cool about the Skystriker, which I didn't notice before, the Skystriker actually has the ability to go into its variable wing formation, which was a signature for the original vehicle from G.I. Joe. It can have the retracted wing formation pictured in this image, but it can also extend its wings fully, allowing it for much greater maneuverability in the air. This is absolutely amazing and leads me to believe that there's actually some sort of mechanisms that you construct with the set, making it a very sought after item indeed. The HISS tank itself also allows for multiple configurations, including a rotating turret and guns which sweep up and down. We can also see here that the two included figures, the pilot as well as Cobra Commander, sit in their various positions, one inside the canopy and the other one, of course, manning the gun turrets. And if I'm not mistaken, taking a look at the decals themselves, they appear to be pre-applied, which is awesome because I myself am not a fan of applying stickers onto Lego pieces. That would just be horrendous. We can see here just how everything plays out. 617 pieces, and if we look closely at the top here, we can see much of the configuration required to utilize that variable wing configuration on the Skystriker. And as I suspected, all of the decals are pre-applied, which really makes this set much more desirable compared to the Forever Clever set, which requires you to apply your own stickers onto the Lego pieces themselves. The overall design of the set is very well thought out and includes two different sets of instructions for you to put together both the Skystriker as well as the HISS tank. I really do think that this set is much more complex compared to its predecessor, and I have to say that this particular inclusion of the variable wing version of the Skystriker in a building construction set really is much more desirable, and the size is really impressive overall. Here we get a little bit of a better illustration as to how big the Skystriker really is. It looks pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. Even the HISS tank being played with these adult hands does look pretty substantial overall. Definitely can't see just how complex the design is to construct this version of the Skystriker. And if we look closely, there actually are several interlocking pieces which allow the wings to expand and retract, which is freaking incredible. I love it. I do have to say though, compared to the $12 offerings from Hasbro, this $80 set really is giving a lot more bang for your buck, especially considering the fact that the action features on the Skystriker are just numerous and really do harken back to the original version of the Skystriker from back in the day. Don't forget guys, the Skystriker will go up for pre-order on MattelCreations.com at $80 for the entire set. The Skystriker being offered by Mattel seems to be much more substantial than the budget offerings, which are already available on the market for Forever Clever and Hasbro. And if you really enjoy building Legos as much as many collectors who enjoy challenging themselves building much larger sets, I really do think that you will be very happy with this version of the Skystriker and HISS tank, as these two look like a very competent set for anyone looking to challenge themselves in the overall build. Oh my gosh, guys. I mean, I'm just joking, of course. Hell's not freezing over just for this. But seriously, I never thought, at least as far as I was concerned, that Mattel and Hasbro would ever be able to join forces in any capacity. When I reported on that last year, I literally thought hell had frozen over at that time. Like, it was just a bombshell announcement, which I don't think anybody saw coming. And originally, it was just supposed to be, you know, game crossovers with Uno and Monopoly and, you know, all that type of, like, you know, visual IPs, if you will, crossing over with each other. But as we found out now, it's moving into the toy sphere, where Hasbro is actually allowing Mattel to, you know, use their properties, like G.I. Joe specifically for that IP, and applying it to one of their mega brands in toy blocks, toy construction sets, which is something which, you know, Hasbro's already taken a stab at. I guess not directly. They were actually using another party called Forever Clever, and those are really, really, really budgeted sets being sold in places like Dollarama and Big Lots and, you know, Five Below. And I guess that's actually where they were content in having those types of brands. But I think that Mega Contstrux is taking that a step further, making this a direct sell to consumers through Mattel Creations and making it a much more substantial set. Opening canopies, different configurations on the wings. It really is a very complex set in that regard. His tank itself is kind of a little bit less complex, but still a very good offering all the same. Guys, let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts about these crossovers from Mattel and Hasbro? Let me know what your thoughts are on Mattel's take on G.I. Joe. Are you guys in on these construction sets, as the first offering from Hasbro was a little bit, well, like I said, budget, whereas this one seems really much more substantial and has a lot more action features? Or do you think that Hasbro and Mattel really should not be playing each other's yards, and you're actually not that interested in this overall crossover, considering that Lego is its own beast versus Mega Contstrux, which actually is trying to carve its own niche in the market? Let me know those comments in the comment section below, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please do leave me a like. It really does help me out. Looks like Mattel and Hasbro are seriously trying to make this work, and I am very surprised at that. I don't think I've ever heard of two mega giants like this really combining to actually form, I guess, intertwined IPs like this. But it is interesting to see. And of course, it's not the first time that Hasbro has partnered up with another toy company. As a matter of fact, McFarlane Toys did a line of G.I. Joe figures, which was really interesting. And you can take a look at that video right here, as I was just as surprised on that collaboration as I am with this one. I'll see you over there, guys. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey, everybody. Keep proud.